Hello and welcome to the In Dating Podcast, sponsored by Events and Adventures. I'm here today with Nicole Shapiro, who's a longtime member of Events and Adventures. Say hi, Nicole.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet everyone today.
And we are going to be talking about dating in Seattle, a little bit about Events and Adventures and your experience as a member in Seattle, and more like great places for first dates, dating nightmares, things like that, things about your life as a dater in the Seattle area and advice you might give people. So let's start first a little bit with um, tell me about the coolest places you've dated in Seattle. What are the great dates? So if a guy wants to take a gal on a great date in Seattle, have you been on any great dates? Have you find out? Maybe every guy has been lame. Nobody's ever taken you anyplace cool. Tell me.
Been on any cool dates? Yeah, I would say, Seattle and the Washington area has many places that are great places to go, really depending on, the season. But I would say that a really cool place would definitely have to be Pike's Place Market. There's so much going on at Pike's Place Market. There's so many restaurants to go out to. You've got the Space Needle, you've got the museums. So I think like a nice little stroll on, going down kind of Pike's Place Market, looking over the ocean, going on the Ferris wheel. That's probably been kind of like, I would say the nicest.
Guys have to think about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
I can give you a couple. But it kind of depends on how serious the date is. You could take somebody to the Bohm's chocolate place in Issaquah, where they make Bohm's chocolate.
Very nice. That would
Yeah,
be cool. That's cool. I like that.
that's very good. So my perfect date out there, if you actually, this is like second date, third date, is you stop there, get some Bohm's chocolates, and then go out to Snoqualmie Falls. Just like drive out there. It's about a half hour out. You're right at the waterfall.
Done that. Now that I'm thinking about that, I've done that. And that's beautiful. I mean, that's such a good date.
Yeah,
You
you
got it.
park in the
You got a
bar
good
there.
idea.
And for people that aren't aware, if you're new to Seattle, it's about a half hour ish,
Mm.
depending on traffic. But you can go out to Snoqualmie Falls. There's a great, expensive restaurant there, but you can look right at the falls there. But if you go around to the right and down, you can do this really steep little road and path that goes down right to the water. And there's like a little railing that comes out, and it says, "Do not go past this." And of
I
course,
know exactly what
you
you're talking.
jump right over that and go walking out along the falls. And if you have any game at all, you're getting kissed at the bottom of that, dude. So that's where you got to go for that. But that's not a first date, because a first date, there's no escape. That's a long thing for a very first date,
Right, right.
unless you've already met each other. And if you met each other at work or you already know each other. But if you're like going off match or something like that, you can't go that far.
No, I would agree.
So how about restaurants? What's your favorite restaurant to like?
So I did go to a really cool restaurant down in Seattle. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was a hibachi style restaurant.
You
That was awesome. That's where they cook the food in front of you. So it was really good food, really good vibe, really good theme. That was, yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. Other ones, the melting pot. I mean, the melting pot it's actually a pretty fairly expensive place just to melt cheese. And in fact, you more or less cook your own food. So, but it's all about the experience. And I forgot about another one. I did do the Cirque du Soleil. I did do and that was,
did you? Nice,
yes, that was phenomenal. I mean, that was great.
nice. So
Even if you don't enjoy the date, you enjoy, you enjoy what it has to offer.
now we didn't really talk about my credentials or anything like that. So let me cover that real quick. I'm actually the owner of Events and Adventures and the founder. For more of 36, 37 years we've been in business, running 500 events a month around the United States and Canada. But I started in Seattle, and so I know Seattle better than most people. I'll tell you, I'll give you a couple places that you can go. I think a beach is always great. So I think if you're anywhere close to Alki, the
I
Alki Beach is
love
a great
Alki.
place to walk. If you're north towards the U District, Golden Gardens is a great place to go.
Beautiful.
Or the Arboretum there is great. You can rent the kayaks there, which is really, really neat. So those are three places I would consider Sea Galley downtown. For those of you that you can picture Seattle, if you go across that bridge, that goes across to West Seattle, and you get off and go along the water. It's on the right. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm spacing on the name of it, but I'll come back and I'll put the name in here. It looks straight across at Seattle. So you can see the Kingdome. I can't see the Kingdome anymore. Um, you can see all the stadiums and, all the great things in Seattle. You can see it all at once there. Very, very romantic. It is a
Oh,
little pricey. It's a little pricey. Uh, so, bring your wallet if you're going to go there. So
is it a steak restaurant?
they do everything. Yeah,
They
it's
do
nice.
everything?
A nicer place. And so when you're on a date, are you, I want to go Dutch. Do you think the guy should pay all the time? What do you do on a date? What do you suggest?
I think that for your first date, I'm I think it depends. I think that ultimately, it really depends on I think the rapport you built before that, right? Like if you just like it's quick and and you're just meeting them, I feel like me personally, Dutch, right? If you've got to know them and yeah, I do. And if you've gotten to know them and you've gotten to talk to them and you've built kind of a relationship before actually having that date, then yeah, I'd expect him to pay.
I don't know. If it's coffee and we're both walking up to the counter at the same time, maybe the girl pays, but I'm gonna pay. And I would think, just from what I know about you, if you go on a first date with a guy and he doesn't pay, you don't date him again. That guy never sees you again.
Yeah, that's most likely true.
We gotta be honest here on these things. You can't
Oh,
go.
well then yes, I expect him to pay.
Yeah, that's what my
You
job.
didn't ask me what would happen after, you just said, "Would you
That's
expect?"
right. See, and you know what? And that's the way the world is. Very often, the women are like, "No, no, I can pay. I can pay. I'm not dating you again." If a woman offers to pay, I got it. If she offers twice, then she wants to pay, and I will let her pay. If she offers twice and is insistent and like, I need to do this or we need to do that, I'm like, fine. But the first time I go, no, I got it. I got it. Don't worry about it. So that's kind of my philosophy. I'm paying for the food.
Yeah.
Though when I met my wife, she paid sometimes. Now, not about the first time, but she paid. She made a lot more money than me when we got married. So when we met and got married, her friends literally were like, "Why are you dating that bum?" So I
Oh,
just started Events and Adventures. I was flat ass broke trying to get the company going, and she was working as a buyer at Costco and doing fantastically well. So, yeah, I know her friends were like, "Really? Why him?" Jokes on them, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
So, but would you date a guy that made less money than you? Are you on this? And honest, back, I know you're actually in a relationship right now. A very fine guy, great guy, but back when you were dating girl, before you got in this relationship, were you even open to dating a guy who made significantly less?
Less? Yes. Significantly less? No, because that kind of says something about where I am versus where he is, right? We're not on the same wavelength, and that's just the truth. I wanna meet someone who's kind of on my same path, on my same journey, and if you're at my age, if you're not there yet, then you're probably not gonna get there anytime soon.
I've heard this said, and I think it's true that a man will take care of a woman who's making less than him, but a woman ain't going to take care of a man that's making less than her. In fact, I sadly had a friend who uh, lost a job not too long ago, and the wife left him. So
That is
yeah,
sad. That's
yeah.
sad.
So it's like you think you have something, and then sadly at the end, once in a while, you realize it was a financial relationship, which is really um, that's that's sad. I think. I mean, you know me. I'm in love with love. I think love is the greatest thing in the whole world.
Yeah, me too. I'm in love
You
with
know,
love.
I'm going to figure out the money. If I love you, I'm going to figure out the money. We'll figure it out together. But yeah, finding that out after a long period of time, or finding out that they're not fit. It's really weird. In the last month, I have one friend who had the situation I just talked to you about. I had another friend whose wife retired after 20 some years in the military, and then admitted to him that she'd been, you know, seeing other men the whole time she was in the service.
Wow.
He was faithful to her. He's like 35 years old now, 30, between 35 and 40. Good looking man. He was a boxer in Puerto Rico. Good looking man, in perfect shape. And he stayed completely faithful to her all that time. And so he was furious, and he's divorcing her. He's like, I saved myself. You know what I could have done all those years? With my looks and my body, I could have had a great time. But he didn't do any of that. And they have a kid, and he's like, he's leaving her. He's like, faithfulness is a key thing for most people. Most people. So it's
It's
sad.
everything. It means everything. If you don't have faithfulness in the relationship, you guys really don't have anything.
You want to hear a really sad statistic, sad, brutal statistic, and a warning to all the men out there. Do you know when the number one time for a man to screw around on his wife is?
The number one time
Most common time a man screws around on his wife?
when he feels like she is what?
During her pregnancy.
Oh my,
When a woman
that's
gets really
true.
big and fat, and well, I mean, you get
Really
big and fat. Let's call a spade a spade. That ain't thin. And
I looked
and,
beautiful. I don't know what
yeah,
you
just naturally, genetically, you become very selfish because you're there for the baby and everything's for the baby, and you're myopic on that. And a man can feel left out and just completely ignored, and like he's just a serf. And then,
Wow.
and then some cute gal's like, I'll give you attention. And away they go. And I didn't realize that. And I read about that. And I'm like, I can see why. Um, it's not fair. It's not right. It's bad, 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 bad. But it
Or
happens. It happens. So, and I don't know. Some men would never screw around.
right.
So hopefully you have one of those. And if they do in that situation, you hope you don't find out. Um, it's just like
Well,
sometimes you don't hear about it, and out of sight, out of mind, I guess. I don't know.
you know what I've been hearing lately?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's kind of a consensus around when a woman is not happy with the way that she looks and her husband or partner decides to fork over the money to, you know, make her dreams come true, whether that is bigger, breastises or a mommy makeover. And then the woman ends up leaving the man right
Right?
after.
It's like,
I mean, there's that too.
like,
That's
like
really
the show now I get this, and obviously we're talking about breast implants mostly. And I
mm,
actually had a friend who got breast implants, and her personality changed completely. She went from someone who didn't have a lot of breasts at all, and I don't know what they look like naked, but she didn't have big breasts. And she was very kind and sweet and fun, and maybe trying to make up for that. And then she got breasts, and it was like, oh, I'm all the shit now. And so I get to look down on everybody. It was amazing how it changed her personality.
yeah.
Oh,
It's like women that lose
okay.
a bunch of weight too. It's the same thing.
No, that's true. That's true. And I mean, if you had been married a long time and all of a sudden your wife or your husband is suddenly getting in incredibly great shape, you got to wonder why they're doing that. Because, when you start dating, you get in good shape because you want to be competitive in the dating pool. So, I'm not going to say get jealous automatically, but, if her personal trainer is really cute, you never know. Right? I'm willing to bet that's another time when that'll happen because I feel like I've got all this great equipment. I want to go out and play with it.
Right.
Um,
My partner was very afraid of me.
I would want, well, and you get more attention, and so you're more easily flattered. Yeah, I would absolutely think that would be a dangerous time. You'd have to go through a period of time of adjustment to realize it's just a part of your body. It doesn't make you better or worse.
Right.
You know, and I've seen women in my family have breast reductions. In my family, the
Uh,
women, I'm big. The women in my family are big, and they had breast reductions because it was hurting their.
the opposite problem in my family. So, but it was something he was very nervous about. Um, when I decided to get my breast implants.
Yeah,
And it was just something I had always wanted for myself. It made me feel unwomanly, to be honest. Just going about my whole life and feeling like, putting on that bikini, I just never felt like what a woman should feel like, right? I had nothing. So it was truly for me.
So let's talk a little bit. So you're a tattoo girl. You got a bunch of tattoos.
No, not at all. Not a single one. I've always wanted one, but I was raised in a Jewish family. So I was told don't get a tattoo.
I don't have any either. Though I promised a member in the Atlanta club who owns a tattoo shop, when he was joining, I promised I would get one next time I'm in Atlanta. So maybe I'll never go back to Atlanta. So just kidding. So how do you feel about guys that have tattoos? Do you think that tattoos make men sexier, less sexy, um, more virile, less virile, more trustworthy, less trustworthy? What do tattoos do for you?
Depends on where they are. I do like tattoos, actually. I think that tattoos are sexy, depending on where they are. Like, I like the arm tattoos. And it also depends on the type of tattoo as well. I mean, I definitely prefer tattoos that have some sort of meaning behind them. If they're just all over or they're in odd places or they look, they're cartoon characters, I'm not into it. Anything on the face or the head, it's a little much for me.
I know one woman had a tramp stamp that said "Lucky You" on it.
Yeah, same thing for the women.
But yeah, and
Lucky you.
yeah, it was funny. It was funny. But someone who has the thought of putting that on there, that's a well-traveled route, and that's not something I'm interested in. And I think most guys they'll date someone who's slept around a lot and has a body count, but when it comes to getting married, then no, no. And for me, I mean, maybe that's just my generation, and maybe people are going to start thinking about it different. But when I see a woman with a bunch of tattoos, I think easy,
Wow.
sleeps around.
Well, that's good for
Because
me.
virgins don't have tattoos. And when I go to get married, I want a woman that hasn't slept with 50 guys. Because I may be 50, but maybe her real number she wants is 80. And I want someone who is going to dedicate themselves to me. I also know that this is okay. Um, this is going to move. This clip will end up on E&A After Hours. Are you ready for that? You okay with this?
Ready.
Okay. Okay. This is going to go on E&A After Hours. Um,
Love
for a
it.
man, and maybe for a woman too, when you have an orgasm with someone, you bond with that person. And if you've bonded with 50 people, it cheapens that bond. It makes it less and less and less and less. If you only are having orgasms with one person in your life, your sexual pleasure gets tied to that person. And I think it makes you more dedicated to that person.
100%. That couldn't have been said any better. I would absolutely agree that a woman feels that way just as much
Really?
as a man. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So true.
eventually it doesn't mean anything. And I think that's also the danger of pornography, because if a guy's sitting there doing that to that, he develops an emotional connection with, pictures or videos or things that are not, not even real or sometimes dangerous or weird. And I think that can really mess with a dude's head, and with women too. More and more women are doing that, sadly. Um, but I think absolutely that can be a problem. So
Agreed.
when when I'm going to find a woman to be with forever, um, I guess that goes to the don't talk about your exes, because you don't want him to know you've had a bunch of people, right?
Right.
That's not good on your, that's great if you're an OnlyFans model. Um, it's not great if you're trying to find a man that's going to dedicate himself just to you for the rest of your life. And I think if there's a woman who's 45 on here, listening to this, she's going to be like, "You asshole! Why would you do that to me?" Well, um, when you're single, you're not competing with me. You're competing with the other women, and you're competing for the men. And the sharper the guy is, the more he's got going on, the more options he has. So how are you going to make yourself the best option for a man that you are attracted to? Because you're competing with the other women, whether you like it or not. You can pretend you're not, but you are. And if you really like this guy, you've got to get his attention and get him to realize that you are the right one, not this other gal, that's making him dinner or doing whatever. And it's tough. It's tough. It's not fair. but it's true. And the same thing happens with guys.
What made you think about that, though? I was thinking, wow, I've never even thought about that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but for it to be said by someone else, like, that was genius.
Yeah. We've all felt that, right? When you do that and you feel this special
No,
connection.
it's the truth.
Yeah. Well,
It's the facts of life, right?
it's a bad problem for a lot of guys. I wish if I could figure out a way to solve that problem for them, that would be that would be the work of a lifetime. If you could figure out how to solve that and cure that addiction for men and for women, they should make statues about you everywhere. It's a real problem.
It is a real problem. It's a huge
Um,
problem.
yeah, and increasing. But so anyway, Nicole, thank you very much for being with us on the show, and it was great hearing your insights about dating and the Seattle area. And let me put a plug in for events and adventures here while we're at it. I try not to do too much about E&A on the podcast, but if you haven't heard about events and adventures, we run 30 or 40 events in every one of our cities every month. We're in 15 cities, so we're doing about 500 events a month. Everything from whitewater rafting, skydiving, trips, parties, travel. We just came back from Cuba today, I think. And yeah, we have an amazing time together. You do have to be single. We're a private club. You have to interview to be a member. Check out Events and Adventures. Is going to be down at the bottom here, so you can click on the link. You can give us a call at 1-800-386-0866 if you want as well. Yeah, Events and Adventures is a great place to be if you're single, and you can find out what the guys are like before you date them. And so, but anyway, Nicole, thank you very much for being on. Hopefully I'll get you on here again real soon.
That sounds good. Thank you so much, Mark.